The idea was, let's go make enough money to then finance our own movies. And at
Mm.
the time he met these two guys, and they were entrepreneurs, they were bodybuilders. And so he's like, oh, I can learn from them. I want six-pack abs. They've got six-pack abs, and I want to be wealthy. They're wealthy. So let me just tag along and figure out and learn all along the way. So that was the 8 years where they then started to build another, just a tech, it was a tech company they started together.
Oh.
Even though my husband hated tech, it was like, this is the path to success. And so that's
Mm-hmm.
why he became more and more miserable.
Mm.
Once I told him, I cannot do this anymore. I am not interested in money. I do not care. I just want my husband back. He went in to technically quit. Now, when he went to quit, they admitted they were miserable as well. And
Wow.
so the idea in that moment was, what's the thing we can do every day and love, even if we were failing? And for very different reasons, a protein bar was the answer.
Yeah.
So because they were bodybuilders, I was making at-home protein bars. All their wives were making at-home protein bars. My husband comes from a morbidly obese family. And so when it becomes a mission where I think it was Mother Teresa that said, not everybody's going to fight for the masses, but everyone will fight for the one. So when you're on your mission, when you feel tired, when you fall on your knees and you don't feel like you're any good, who's that person you're going to think of that's going to help you get back up? And so for my husband, he wanted to think of his mum and his sister who were morbidly obese. Every day when he felt badly about himself, if a product wasn't working or the production line wasn't working, he could ask himself, okay, you could lick your wounds or you can get up and help your mum. And so that became the start to Quest Nutrition. Now, at the time, they're like, look, we've got this idea. We have to exit our current company, but Lisa, you don't work. So can you help out? And so because I adopted the mindset that I was a good wife, quote unquote, I was like, of course, what do you need? Now, in that moment, put our house up for collateral.
Wow.
And so if Quest failed, we would have lost our house. And so every time I was faced with myself, now what I mean by that is when I can't do something or the voice in my head is telling me I'm no good, how do I act? In the past, I would back off because it felt emotionally damaging to move towards not feeling good about myself and doing something that made me fail. But the second I was faced with Quest, where it was like, either you do this or you lose your house. Like it was a very clear line. It was like, well, I don't want to lose my house, so I better figure this out. And every time you ask yourself, I better figure this out, you don't think about how many times it's going to take. You just keep going. And so that taught me over time that, Lisa, you may not know something now, but you have the ability to learn. And that ability to learn is what made me feel good about myself, not the fact that I had to be right. And that was a lesson that I learned very early on at Quest. And so I was just shipping bars from my living room floor. I just thought of myself as a good Greek wife, that I was just helping out my husband. And what we didn't realize is the company would grow at 57,000%. Now, what that actually means, is you go from $0 to $1 billion in 5 years.
Oh my goodness. That is incredible. That is really incredible. I mean, it's what entrepreneur dreams are made of, right? And that's what we see is like the end result. But I'm sure it wasn't easy. And in your book, you talk about really rolling up your sleeves, getting in there, doing all kinds of work in the warehouse, playing your hip hop music and just really going for it.